This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe. I'm here to tell you all to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and remember to turn on notifications. You will be the first to know all about the latest Dragon Ball news and information.
Oh, did you say UnrealEntGaming? Oh, I love his channel.
God damn it, Zelbon, stop rubbing your nipples and get back to bed!
Vegeta is undoubtedly one of Universe 7's trump cards going into the Tournament of Power, as Vegeta seems to play a key role behind what may or may not happen leading into the ending of the Tournament of Power. And given his nature on today's video, we're going to be diving into 5 predictions surrounding Vegeta within the Tournament of Power that I personally feel may happen. And as always, this is an opinionated video, so if you yourselves have a prediction of your own to share, in which I challenge you all to post 5 predictions of your own for Vegeta and Vegeta only down in the comment section below, and seeing where the community stands on the subject of Vegeta in this tournament. As done previously, I covered both Gohan and Goku going forward in the tournament, so now it's only time to discuss Vegeta's involvement as well. And of course, if you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to punch that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a Dragon Ball video is posted onto this channel. Hashtag notification squad. And with all that being said, moving on to number 5 on our list is Vegeta may have the most eliminations on Team Universe number 7. Now, given Vegeta's nature as a character, he's not one to be carefree when it comes to battling an opponent, especially in a tournament-like setting where everything is on the line. And thus far in the Tournament of Power, based on Dragon Ball Super episode 98, 99, 100, even 101, we get to see Vegeta sprint into action and taking things very serious and taking his opponents very serious, unlike Goku, who in Dragon Ball Super episode 100, Vegeta had told Goku not to take someone like Kale lightly, in which Goku completely disregarded his comments and getting thrashed by Kale later on. So to preserve the overall presence of Vegeta in this tournament-like setting, I do feel as if they ought to give Vegeta the most eliminations for Team Universe number 7, given the fact that number 1, Vegeta is very aggressive as a character, and number 2, he does seem to take fights very serious, unless of course it comes down to a situation where he feels as if he wants to flex his power, where ultimately that could be his demise if he decides to do that. But given his nature in this tournament, I really don't see Vegeta having to take anyone lightly, because he knows that the fate of his own existence alongside that of his family lies within his hands to survive the tournament and winning for his universe. So having to go back to what happened during the Champa arc, I would love to see Vegeta bear that of the most eliminations, because that's exactly what happened during the Champa story of Universe 6 versus Universe 7, and having Vegeta step in and pretty much clean house by getting the most eliminations. So with that, in order to justify Vegeta's character further, since Goku's going to be the one to break his limits, I think by having Vegeta have the most eliminations would further justify his overall development. Now moving on to number 4 on the list, is I do believe that Vegeta will in fact reveal a new skill. Now, unlike Goku having to see him break his limits at some given point during this tournament, I don't see Vegeta also having some sort of a new form. The fandom has been talking about Super Saiyan White, Super Saiyan White, Super Saiyan White, and I just don't see it happening, at least not now. I don't think that such a form is going to exist within the Tournament of Power, let alone Dragon Ball Super, so I do think that to substitute for that, Vegeta will in fact reveal a new skill, possibly a new technique that can further his chances in surviving in the Tournament of Power. Now again, I don't think it's going to be a new form per se, but I definitely feel as if it's going to be a technique or a skill that's going to allow Vegeta to survive that much further until we get to the very point of Goku breaking his limits, because I don't definitively feel as if Vegeta has surpassed Goku, at least not as of right now. Maybe down the line in Dragon Ball Super, Vegeta at some point may also break his limits, but I don't see that happening as of right now. So having to execute and utilize a new technique or a new skill against even stronger opponents such as Hit, Jiren, Toppo would definitely solidify Vegeta's character that much more in the tournament, and having him be that much more believable in this overall setting, and having him fight fighters equal to or even greater than him in terms of feats. And to add on to this, let's not forget when Goku first invited Vegeta to train with him when the Universe Survival arc first started, and Vegeta having to tell Goku, good luck in trying to catch up with me, and Goku having to tell Vegeta, don't be mad at me when I surpass you in power, with Vegeta having to follow up by saying, ha, good luck. So who knows, maybe Vegeta has found a way to utilize and execute his powers that much more, possibly in a more fashionable manner than Goku, in a more stable kind of way, because Vegeta has been learning and growing all throughout Dragon Ball Super, so I don't see why Vegeta would not have either a new technique up his sleeve, or B, a new skill that can further his chances in fighting stronger opponents than how he is. So again, I do think that he will reveal a secret in this tournament. If it's going to be a form, that I really doubt. I do think it's going to be an ability, but until then, I still stand by the idea that it's going to be a new skill or technique. Now moving on to number 3 on the list is I do believe that Vegeta will have an engagement of words and possibly a physical altercation with Lord Frieza. Now given the nature of both Frieza and Vegeta, those two have so much history dating back to when Vegeta was a kid, and Vegeta having to despise and hate the idea of Frieza even being a part of the team to begin with. So at some given point I do think that words will be exchanged, and given that how Vegeta embarrassed Frieza in Resurrection of F and having to beat him out of his golden form and nearly killing him until Frieza blew up the entire Earth, I still feel as much as Frieza hates Goku, he also despises Vegeta that much more as well. So either A, Frieza might be the first one to make a move on Vegeta, or B, Vegeta might be the first one to make a move on Frieza. Having to look at Dragon Ball Super episode 101, we also get to see a slight engagement between Frieza and Vegeta, and having Vegeta tell Frieza, you can't target my own opponents, you can't target the targets that I am going after, with Frieza having to say, first come, first serve, oh well. So I do feel as if these two are going to bump heads at some given point, which either A, might result in a physical altercation, or B, result in someone else stepping in and having to seize Vegeta and Frieza and escalating the situation that much more. But regardless of what happens, Vegeta and Frieza are definitely going to have an engagement with words, as Frieza has thus far with several different characters. Frieza plays by nobody's rules, and of course he is up to something dirty. So it really wouldn't surprise me if Frieza targets Vegeta first before coming after Goku, with Vegeta having to retaliate and then further escalating the situation. And let's not kid ourselves, these two absolutely cannot stand each other, so it really wouldn't surprise me if Vegeta gets in Frieza's face and barking orders, with Frieza having to retaliate and thus escalating the situation more. Moving on to number 2 on our list is Vegeta will indefinitely have his rematch against the Universe 6's assassin known as Hit. Now according to Toshio on Twitter, we do understand that this fight is being planned. Of course, as of right now, we do also understand that previous to this, Hit was stronger than Vegeta, and according to Toshio, he doesn't really know as to where the two characters stand as of right now, as a personal opinion of course, but it's undoubtable that Vegeta is going to look in having redemption against Hit, as Hit was the first ever person to knock out Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta during that time, and Vegeta having to be at his peak and simply having to fall short in stopping Hit during the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament. So having to ask me for my opinion, I do think that this is going to be one of the bloodiest battles of the tournament, and having Vegeta now realize what time skip is and having to move carefully against Hit since he already knows that Hit can manipulate time, it's safe to say that Vegeta has gotten way stronger than how he was during the Universe 6 tournament. However, the same applies for Hit, and even let's say hypothetically speaking Hit is not stronger than Vegeta, let's not forget that Hit possesses skilled techniques as an assassin being over 1,000 years old that can easily be applied via pressure points and knocking people out. Again, all he needs to do is just improve as he did against Goku and further perfecting his time skip and using that in the World of Void. And yes, for those of you who don't know, time skip does apply in the World of Void, as we saw Hit use this against Nariyama and several other characters. So it'll be Vegeta versus the time skip once more, but this time Vegeta does understand what time skip is. He does know how to approach it correctly, as he did watch Goku fight Hit afterwards and seeing how Goku did against time skip. So it's not really new to me if Vegeta does keep up with time skip and being able to counter it. However, let's not kid ourselves, Hit also probably possesses new techniques and abilities that can further stop or incapacitate his opponent and causing Hit to further eliminate that person from the Tournament of Power. Let's not kid ourselves, Hit and Vegeta are two very powerful characters, and at some given point, as we've seen before, Vegeta was charging at Hit before Botamo got in the way. But once Botamo and the other fodder characters get eliminated, there's going to be nobody that's going to be protecting Hit once Vegeta charges right at him. As of course we've seen previous, Vegeta does seem to have some sort of vendetta against them, and you can't really blame him for being embarrassed, for being utilized as a crash test dummy during their fights. So I do predict that by the end of this, judging based on where you, the fan stan, you can either be with A, Team Vegeta, or B, Team Hit. Either way, this is going to be one of the highlights of the Tournament of Power, as this is, in my opinion, going to be one of the best, if not one of the bloodiest battles in the entire tournament, as I do definitively feel that Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta is now ready to fight against Hit at his max, which of course goes back to what I said earlier about Vegeta possibly revealing a new skill or technique that may counter Toki Tobashi or the time skip and furthering his chances on winning the tournament. And lastly, moving on to the number one prediction of our video, is Vegeta will not make it into the finals. Now this one is very tricky considering the fact that the entire tournament thus far has been built around Goku and having his massive fight against Jiren and also breaking his limits, so I predict that this tournament may not result in Vegeta having to win by the end, but I do feel that if Vegeta does lose, that his loss should not be lower than that of Krillin's, but also he should be ringed out via having to work with somebody else or possibly a double knockout. Depending on where you stand, either A, Vegeta should sacrifice himself in protecting somebody for the namesake of the tournament, i.e. Goku, or B, having to have such an intense battle in which causes him and the other person to both get knocked out at the exact same time. I do feel as if they ought to preserve Vegeta's nature and giving him the most eliminations and revealing a new skill and having a rematch against Hit and possibly even having the son Frieza, but by the end of it, I don't see Vegeta having to win the Tournament of Power just because this entire arc has been built around Goku, and Goku having to be the enemy of the multiverse, and Goku having to break his limits, and Goku having to challenge Jiren, and Goku having to have fun, and Goku practically having to do everything. So I do definitively feel that by the end of this, Vegeta may sacrifice himself if he sees Goku in trouble and having to do what's right for the namesake of the team in preserving their spot in winning the tournament by either sacrificing himself because he sees somebody coming after Goku, or having a bloody showdown against another opponent and having him and the other person have a double disqualification or a double knockout. That's the only way I can see them preserving Vegeta's character, and having Vegeta get wrung out definitively by another character would kind of be sloppy because we all want to see something come from Vegeta. We all want to see Vegeta have the spotlight for once. We saw what happened during the Goku Black story. He did have his moments here and there, but by the end of it, he was Goku Black's bitch. So I hope to see Vegeta advance forward. I hope to see Vegeta actually ring out some top tier fighters, and by the end of it, I really do hope that as a whole, they preserve Vegeta's character in keeping him intact and not having him lose relatively quickly against someone even stronger than him. If anything, I do think that he either should get a double knockout or a double disqualification, or something happens to where it just catches the fans off guard, but I don't really see Vegeta having to be the final person in the ring. If that were to happen, it'll blow the entire fandom out the water and having the shock value come about. But post your comments down below. What are your 5 predictions for Vegeta? Do you see him winning the tournament? Do you see him beating Hit? Do you see him achieving a new form? Do you see him throwing out Frieza? Do you see him doing something relevant in the show, or do you see him getting wrung out early? Thank you all for watching. Once again, if you guys are new to this channel, be sure to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button, turn on notifications, that way you guys can be notified whenever a Dragon Ball video or update is posted onto this channel. Hashtag notification squad. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below. Follow me at Twitter, link down below, guys. Tune back in for more. Hopefully enough, Vegeta does have a credible presence in this tournament. I hope that they preserve his nature as a character. I really do hope that he doesn't get destroyed by somebody, because once again, it'll be everybody having to laugh at Vegeta for doing absolutely nothing in the show. But I do think that they're hiding Vegeta in preserving something special, and hopefully enough, it'll be presented in the Tournament of Power. So thank you all for watching. Once again, tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.